All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Dockside at the Bay. I am Vinny, along with Kim, and Happy New Year, Happy 2026.
Happy New Year.
Hopefully everybody has, if you went out last night and had a good time, hopefully you're not too hungover to enjoy our show today.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes. But either way, I do want to say thank you to everybody who made our 2025 just very, very, very monstrous in terms of growing in popularity as well as support. So again, thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing and liking and sharing and all that. And I do want to note, seeing as today is January 1st, we're starting a brand new promotion for 2026. Every month we are going to be giving away a free T-shirt to someone. And how do you get entered into that drawing? Well, you give us a super chat or a super thanks or a super sticker. So here's where it is. For every month, for every person that does a super chat and helps to support the channel, super chat or super thanks or super sticker, your name, your username on YouTube will go into a drawing for a free T-shirt, and I will send that to you at the end of the month. I will get your name, get your information, and have it sent out. And that's going to be for every month for 2026. So we're going to start today with January 1st. Give us a super chat. Give us a super thank, and it doesn't matter the monetary. If you want to do $2, you can do $2. If you want to do more, you can do more. Just know that every super that you send us is a new entry into the drawing. So if you do 5, you got 5 entries. If you do 10, you get 10 entries. And you're helping to support us as well. So there we go. Every month, we will send out a shirt to a lucky winner based upon the supers that you send us. So go ahead and start today. Yep. Send us a super chat. Send us a super thanks or a super sticker. It just goes to help the show. It goes to help us provide fantastic new production. Our production level could be higher and new stuff, new content, and all of that. So help us out. Kim, how are you doing? Just to kind of break the fourth wall, we are recording on December 17th, so we haven't had our Christmas or our New Year's yet.
Yeah, but looking forward to that holiday, still that holiday mode. And feels like my workplace is kind of in the holiday mode too right now, where it's just like everyone's just trying to get through the new year where we're recording this from in the future.
Exactly. We hopped into our DeLorean. But either way, folks, I do want to thank everybody for everything for 2025.
Yes.
You helped us grow tremendously. And 2026, we're going to be providing a lot more content.
Oh, yeah. We got plans.
Yes. Angela and I are going to be starting the Pop Culture Time Machine and Pop Culture Time Machine Blind Spot will be a new show that's premiering relatively soon, as well as a new Fantasy Warfare hybrid podcast that I'm going to be doing, where it's going to be wrestlers from different eras or different territories that may not have ever faced each other, but could have had a fantastic match had they faced each other. So we'll have a roundtable discussion regarding that potential match, and then you'll actually see the match played out, simulated on WWE 2K25, and we're going to spotlight a specific community creator if that character or characters, in terms of tag team, had to be created. So, got a lot of stuff going on. As well, we're looking at possibly starting a paranormal show. Not my cup of tea, but my wife is big into that, and there may be a new group of Connecticut paranormal people, a group, investigators, there's the word I'm thinking of, a group of Connecticut paranormal investigators that may be starting on our network as well. So a lot of new stuff coming up.
For sure.
All right. So we are going to be talking about the Bay Season 7, Episode 7. And we're flipping back and forth between Bay City and Puerto Rico.
Yes. Yep. We're, as opposed to the previous episode that was just exclusively kind of two characters. We had Vivian and we had Adam just in the cabin and their, isolated sort of state. Now we're back, focusing on the other families, focusing on the other, the drama that's still happening in Bay City. Yes. That's extended out to Puerto Rico and the investigation and Pete and the Three Musketeers with Pete and with Caleb, as well as with RJ. There was a lot more, definitely action packed in this episode too, and moving things forward, moving along the plot, everything like that. Still happened down in a pretty condensed, way too. The episode flew by as per usual. So.
But either way, it was a great follow-up to the episode with Adam and Vivian. It was.
Oh, for sure.
We needed to catch up with a lot of the other characters. Clearly, they had the episode with Adam and Vivian because of plot points they needed to move on. This now is getting into the nitty-gritty of trying to get to where Adam is.
Right.
And we got to go ahead and just get started with with Pete. And Pete and Caleb and RJ are sitting at the table, and all RJ cares about is that pina colada.
Honestly, though, he's like, again, with the little kid kind of, they're embracing that in him, in his, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
He is just between, I don't know if it's something, just even the way he was kind of carrying himself and just trying to lighten the mood a little bit. And he's got his even like his wardrobe. He looks like a little kid sitting there all happy. He's got to sneak like a beer off the porch or something like that. He's just giving off sort of youthful, sort of, you can tell that he's obviously invested in this whole journey. He obviously wants to, help Pete find his family, find his loved ones, but he's bringing a little bit of comic relief to a very scary situation, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
And trying to make sure that, Caleb, who's obviously very stressed, and Pete, who's obviously very stressed, he's trying to lower the temperature a little bit and just remind them what they're here to do and that they shouldn't be fighting amongst themselves, because you could definitely feel the tension, with Caleb in this. I think this is probably the most intense and angry we've seen Caleb yet, which is completely understandable. But and the first time we've seen him this on edge and this, because normally he's like a puppy, just so sweet and so but clearly not here.
Well, because he is worried about Daniel, and we see that. I think there's definitely some clashing going on, because just that one scene at the at the table, right out kind of on the porch on the outside dining area, and Caleb is accusing Pete of not telling him everything,
right?
Keeping stuff from him. RJ's talking about the pina colada, and Pete's like, "Hey, RJ, this is not a vacation. We're here for this."
Yeah, and Pete snaps at him. He's just not. He's not having it. He's not happy. And then Caleb snaps back though, and Caleb's just like, "I'm gonna get you that pina colada." Just when that moment kind of made me just chuckle a little bit when he's just. But you can tell the tension is high. They want to find their loved ones, and they're all scared, and they're all just trying to figure it out. But Pete, to his credit, does, calm when RJ is trying to get him to come to grips a little bit and just saying he's worried too. Obviously, you're worried about Vivian. He's worried about Daniel. We all just he's, as much as RJ is kind of, he feels younger, but he's also got a sort of innocent kid energy where he's just he just wants everyone to get along, and he just wants everyone to help each other, and that energy is kind of needed in the whole situation too.
No, you're absolutely right. But I did like Caleb. I think Caleb is obviously a lot more nervous, because he's never been on one of these things. He's a school teacher, he's a math teacher.
Yeah, this is not his. He's not in his element, and
No.
you know, even Daniel was kind of a fish out of water when he was helping Pete out in Belgium, but he's a little bit more game for like the adventures and you know, with that, and he's also got like, you know, the Garrett sort of, not, you know, but he's got like that kind of like, there's a sense of like, you know, money and family and just adventure and all of that with him, and Caleb is polar opposite of that. That's not how he was, you know. So it's all very new and scary to him.
It is. And Pete is used to this. Like, Pete's kind of taken that lead numerous times, and he's like, listen, chill out. Your husband's there, my wife is there too. So we are in this together, and you know, we're gonna find out. And I'm telling you everything that I know. I can't tell you anything I don't know. And I think that's what it boils down to for Caleb, is that it's the unknown. He doesn't know what, you know, what's going on. They tracked Adam to the here. Now it's crunch time, and Pete is going to find out where Adam is with the help of a former Bay City police detective.
Yeah, we get introduced to here, and he makes his presence known in a cool way. I like this guy, like, pretty much immediately after we meet him. He's just very, you know, to the point. He understands how everything is at stake. He says, I know what it's like to lose a loved one too. We're not really entirely sure what his whole we know that obviously he's linked in with Bay City. We're not entirely sure of everything just yet, but I like that, you know, for this guy being, you know, his first kind of appearance. I like, and I like the way that he's kind of able to just help Pete see through the static and just, you know, we're gonna find them, we're gonna make this happen, and I'm gonna help you however I can.
Agreed. And it's just such a great brainstorming session that we see Pete and this other detective have. And forgive me, I forget his name.
I'm blanking on it
too. But it does. I like how Pete's kind of talking it out in his head, because they're talking about a guy named Lambert.
Yes.
Who tried to, you know,
call back to Belgium, call back to that history, which, to be fair, I had kind of forgotten about.
Yes.
They mentioned, and I really love how the Bay is, you know, they sprinkle in that history just to remind us, because, you know, with the way the show shoots and, you know, streams and everything, it's easy to lose track of plot that happened in prior seasons. I mean, when was Belgium? That was like season 4 or 5, somewhere in there. It's kind of a blur.
Yeah.
So for them to, like, you know, pepper in that detail, it just shows that, you know, even though we may have forgot, it's like, oh, now it's coming back to me. Now it's starting to click again, because that character, he made his presence known back in Belgium, and for them to tie him back into the equation here, you know, interesting move.
That was the guy. That's right. That was the guy that was about to buy the real estate stuff from Steve.
Right.
Right. Okay. Because I was trying to put it together, and I thought that maybe it happened off screen at some point in the past or whatever. But I'm like, wait a minute, we've seen Pete's character evolve this entire time. I don't remember that, but now that you bring it up, I do.
Yeah. And then having, you know, the episode start out with Steve did kind of set it brought us back in a way to that whole, you know, mission when, you know, Pete was trying to obviously track down Sarah, thought that, you know, Steve was responsible, but there was other forces at play, and it's similar to what's happening now. There's other forces at play.
Yeah, and I like how, kind of switching gears to Steve, I like how Steve was unaware there was a different Adam Kenway as well.
I appreciated that too. I think it's one of the first times we've ever seen Steve really caught off guard.
Yes.
Because it just shows that he was off in oh gosh, where was he? In where was he in Oregon?
I think that was Turkey. Yeah, Turkey.
Yeah. So he obviously, you know, back in, you know, rounded up, getting interrogated by Lex and the whole thing, and he's all sitting there, you know, like sing it. Previously, when we'd seen him, he was like singing in the cell or the interrogation room, and all cocky and all just. But he gets genuinely blindsided by the fact that A, Adam wasn't Adam, and B, that Sarah was hurt. And Sarah was shot.
Because when they showed him the picture of Logan,
yes,
and he's like, "Yeah, you used to be my head henchman," And when Lex comes in and said, well, he came into the house and shot Sarah.
Yeah.
And then
I
he
didn't
says,
like the line, he shot my blondie, but also just, he found a way to make it creepy, of course.
well, I mean,
But
I
also-
get it, but at the same time, it's like now it's a different vibe from Steve.
Yeah, no, because he was thrown by hearing that news. He didn't,
Right.
that all of that is just brand new information to him. And it's the first time we've ever seen him that caught off guard and that surprised and that just
because
out of the loop.
Well, because Logan used to be his head henchman, and the fact that now he's working for Adam, and now he doesn't like he sees where the loyalties end.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think Steve feels that knowing that Logan worked for him, Logan would have known don't touch Sarah because Steve loves her so much, obsessed, whatever.
Yeah.
But just the fact that this guy was the guy that pulled the trigger, Sarah. Oh well,
that's true. That is another layer that I kind of that is another layer because, as you said, he would have said, in spite of everything, no, Sarah's off limits. You don't touch her, and then for him to find out, I don't know, just the way the my blondie. It still creeps me out whenever he calls her blondie. So
yeah.
But
we get it.
Yeah, just seeing him kind of rattled in that moment was satisfying. It was interesting. Kudos to Matt Ashford again, because that man's brilliant. And we also had, Lex in the equation too, trying to, get the information. It's just so many rock stars in that scene, and just information and things getting teased out. And it felt it was a brief interaction, but it said a lot, and there was a lot that happened in like those few minutes in the interrogation room. So.
Oh yeah, and okay, and you know what was really great about it was Lex, and just the demeanor of him, and obviously we know that Jensen pushes his buttons all the time, and Lex is on edge. Lex goes after him a couple of times, whatever.
Yeah.
And then when Steve says he hurt my blondie, that's kind of like the realization that Lex has now that, well, this guy didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And now they're going to sit down because he takes the coffee and he goes to sit down. And now it's like, all right, this is on.
And, in any other universe, it would be like, kind of cool to see the two of them join forces and help, try and track this bastard down. But at the same time, it's just like all of that history and everything that we know Jensen to be. It's like you can't root for that, but you kind of want to.
Right.
Want to see Tristan Rogers and Matthew Ashford just like teaming up to take down a bad guy in a way.
Yeah.
Like, that would make for like a satisfying, but given the characters, it's like the best that they could do is just kind of have that moment where it's like, all right, let's really kind of hammer out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, no, exactly. But what's really great is that right after, while Lex and Nardo and the DA, who I still can't remember her name.
Yeah. She's fairly new though. Like, she's kind of come onto the scene at a, not to say I should know her name, but
as they're comparing notes and kind of talking afterwards, Lex is staring at this one young cop.
Yes.
And we see it a couple of times because even beforehand, like there's a lot of focus on this cop where he's
random panning over to like show this guy just kind of standing off to the side, looking shady. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Lex goes after him because Lex has a flashback to the night in question and recognizes his hair, his eyes, and
because he did put together a pretty remarkable sketch that we got with his whole interaction with
Logan.
Yes. So.
Well, that's what
he's got pretty good recall on the whole situation.
Yeah, that's what being a great detective is.
Yeah. But despite the fact that the woman, love of his life is lying there bleeding out, he's still able to emblazon in his. So kudos to our guy, Yeah. I give him credit.
And folks, we apologize for the car horn in the
Yeah,
background.
I apologize for that. I swear my window is closed. It's very cold here in Chicago.
Yeah. No, trust me, I get it.
Car alarms get loud.
Even with the windows closed and everything, we hear wind chimes from next door. So yeah, I get it. But moving
just alerting you to watch the Bay, guys. It's
of
just,
course. Yeah, keep you
sounding
awake.
alarm, being like, hey, catch up.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not binging the Bay yet, you got to start. I mean, hell, we're on season 7, episode 7 at this point, and it gets better and better every single week.
Absolutely.
Or every single episode, I should say. All right, so moving on to where Lex is now going into the interrogation room with this cop, because obviously Lex kind of ran after him and attacked him.
Yeah.
Nardo pulls him off. They put the cop in handcuffs. And then, Nardo's trying to say, hey, you got to stay calm, you know, and Lex is just like, I want to rip this guy's head off. What is going on? Why are you, who are you working for? And then an attorney happens to come in and say, yeah, that's my client. I've never seen this gentleman before.
No, me either. That actor, though, he's one of those like character actors where it's like, his face. 90% sure he's probably been in an episode of like Law and Order or something like that, because he looks very familiar to me. But yeah, we have not seen him in Bay City before. For a second, I was just like attorney. Hey, maybe it's so and so, but maybe it's Why am I blanking on his name?
Arthur.
Thank you.
Kobe.
I was like, Arthur with a new face, but no.
Although it would have been cool if it was, because Adam is the one that's
It would make logical sense, an Arthur recast.
Yeah.
I would have been, cool with that, just given everything that's been playing out.
Yep.
But no, it's a different, new face for us. But again, the way that they introduce characters on this show, it's pretty seamless. Yes, okay, but we got the new detective and the DA that we mentioned. Now we have it's becoming like an episode of Law and Order.
It is.
We're getting a lot of the law side of things happening right now too, and disorder.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, before I say anything, before I do anything else, I do want to give a free plug to a company. Every so often, when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see the ads for whatever it may be, whether it's stuffed animals or whatever, and I swear the phone listens to you because you're talking about something, and then 10 minutes later it's on your Facebook feed. But if you've ever wanted to get custom-made ugly Christmas sweaters, if you go through funnyuglychristmassweater.com, I know it's a long thing. They're actually really good. Their customer service is great. They're one of those that's not a scam company. I've ordered 2 custom ugly shirts, ugly sweaters from them. This year's my second one with the Suds and Squared Circle logo on it. So if you are looking for a new funny ugly sweater with whether it's your pets or your business logo, go through them. Free plug. I don't, they're not a sponsor, but I've ordered twice from them and they are freaking awesome. So
check in the market for a nice sweater. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Yeah, funnyuglychristmassweater.com. So check that out. They have a ton of great designs, and they're spot on with their tracking information. They keep you posted with everything. They're one of the good finds on Facebook. All right, sorry, quick tangent. So where were we? Oh yeah, so Lex interrogating the young cop, and that's kind of like when the attorney walks in. That's pretty much where it ends, because now it's like he's got to talk to his attorney, and we don't see any of that at that point.
Yeah, but it did create, planted a lot of, cast out some new threads. We've got some characters in the mix now that we didn't have before. And it's just, it just adds another, layer to this whole investigation thing, and how it's just, just spiraling and, an umbrella all over in the entire town. that's his way to Puerto Rico too. So
yes. Now we're speaking of Puerto Rico. Now we're going to Puerto Rico because we're going back to Puerto Rico because that's where we see Xander.
Yes. Along with the twins.
Along with Reagan and Frankie. They're talking, and I love how Reagan is the smart one, right? She's got the glasses. It is stereotypical. She's a smart one of the twins, and she's going on, and she's like, I know I saw Mr. Caleb, I forget his last, Mr. McKinnon, along with Uncle Pete, and I don't know why they were here, and this and that, and Frankie's like, no, I couldn't have been. There's no reason why they're there. And then here comes Xander. Yeah, they're here, and
I love how that's kind of become like an almost recurring sort of thing where we have the twins kind of exploring this possibility, and then Xander just comes in, oh yeah, by the way, totally confirmed your suspicion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he fills in the gaps. He's the answer man. He comes in and he just kind of, tells you everything that's going on. I appreciate that.
I do too. But think about this, okay? So they're using an iPad, or Reagan is using a phone to look at Bay City's newspaper. And we saw...
It's got more circulation in Puerto Rico than it probably does in Bay City.
But that's where you would think to see it out of town is on a phone.
Yes.
Not see the actual newspaper. As
opposed to the actual physical, yes.
Exactly. So I'm thinking Adam has a printing press in the basement in that compound where he's able to get...
he's old school, as established by his love for classical music.
That's true.
So, maybe the printing press, who knows? He could have a whole, dark Gothic villain, lair someplace and, just involve all of that. Because I wouldn't put it man. But no, seeing it on the phone and her scrolling through, it's like, I appreciate with the teenagers and the young kind of component of the cast, it feels very natural. It doesn't feel like it's forced. It doesn't feel like they're just like kind of subjecting, because sometimes, soap teens, tweens, that age. But I think it feels like actual conversations that could be taking place. It feels like it feels grounded and kind of real, as opposed to sometimes on soaps where you just see like convenient conversations happening with the young crowd and they try and make it seem like they're young and younger than the actors are. I think that they kind of, I like their dynamic with the twins and Xander. And I think that it comes across as just natural and well written. So, and they move the plot in ways that make sense and ways that will not like just dumping exposition on us or something like that.
No, you're absolutely right. And it just, it works for how everything goes. And they're kind of in a stick in the mix of the thick of things. There we go. There's the word I was thinking of. They're right there in the thick of things. And I like how they said, oh yeah, our Nana and your mom wanted to get us out of, Bay City for our own good. Come to find out, they happen to go down to Puerto Rico, the place where everything is happening.
Yeah, everything's about to, I don't know how far apart San Juan and El Yunque are, but, I'm just thinking, yeah, you guys, your timing, not the best from Nana to go to the spa.
Exactly. And I like how later on when they actually bump into Caleb and RJ at the bar, and I like how Frankie's like, is that alcohol?
Little moments of the comic relief sprinkled in, RJ at Pina Colada. We should do like a t-shirt, a little cartoon of RJ holding his striped shirt, little Pina Colada.
That was a very awkward interaction though, when Xander and the twins see Caleb and RJ, because it's almost like Caleb doesn't want to tell them what's going on.
Right. Well, it makes sense too. He's a teacher. He wants to protect these kids from this horrible reality of his husband, having gone missing, being kidnapped by this sociopath.
Right.
It's a good way to just kind of remind us that, Caleb he's a teacher and he's an average guy who is caught up in this craziness. And his first instinct is to just kind of be like, oh, these are kids, around age grade. I don't know what level of school he teaches. I forget.
High school math.
high school math. Thank you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just he sees these kids and he just, no, I need to protect them from this in whatever way that I can. But it's also like worlds colliding. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this right now? I'm completely overwhelmed about my husband being gone, and now there's kids here looking for answers.
Agreed. Yeah.
Tough spot for our teaching man.
No, you're exactly right. But I don't know. I feel like between him and RJ's like, oh yeah, we're trying to do this XYZ, and Caleb's like, no, RJ, shut up, like
rein it in, bud. That pina colada, it shouldn't be that strong.
but he also said, I would recommend you guys go back to Bay City because you'll be safer there. But it's still, it's still that kind of that exposition of, well, they're here, they're giving us information, and we see how Caleb is got that protective vibe as a teacher.
Yeah. We see that, he's just trying to, he's, getting torn apart in a million different directions and just trying to figure out which way is up. But, instinct kicks in and he's just, I need to protect these kids in spite of the fact that they might have some facts about, this crazy situation that's going on here that I'm, just happen to be involved with.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. All right, what else? Let's see, what else we have going on?
Well, we did have the tail end of the episode when we've got Lex, who's in like full on superhuman mode, trying to, but we get the Sophia calling to.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
On Sarah, who's taken a turn for the worse. Because when we last saw her heart rate was like spiking and everything, and it's just, she's not in a good place. She was in that, like, the hallway had turned red because of red, and now things are starting to just, she's starting to kind of, she's having some issues. So Sophia was just basically like, you got to get down here right away, man.
Exactly.
Help your lady. So
yeah. All right. Let's see. I think that was about it. That we really.
So too, I wasn't really trying to. I don't think there was anything that we missed, but that's the Bay for you. It's like just like jumps from one actiony thing to the next, and now we gotta get ourselves next episode, figure out the whole Puerto Rico thing, and there's just so many threads, so many things to unpack that they keep on just finding little ways to future twists, and ooh, hey, new plot point. Let's check that out next week. It's just
agreed.
So good.
Yeah. But folks, we're about out of time. We kind of talked everything over, and again, if you're hungover, I hope that this kind of sobered you up a little bit. But we hope that you had a fantastic New Year's Eve, have fantastic Christmas as well.
Yes.
But either way, where can everybody find you?
So I am Misfit8690 on Twitter and a Little Misfit52 on Instagram as well as YouTube. So feel free to hit me up there and chat soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
All right. And as always, I am on Twitter and Facebook at Vinny Suds, also at Suds Media, which is our network Twitter account, which is what I normally use. On Instagram and Threads is at Suds and Squared Circle. On TikTok, it's at Suds_media. I'm doing more TikTok lives, TikTok exclusive shows over there, or just chats, ask me anything, whatever. Just more TikTok engagement as well. Buy our merch. Go to merch.suds-media.com and help us out that way. You get some really cool logos of our shows as well as more. And then, as always, suds-media.com, which is our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell and get notified anytime we come out with newer content, whether it's Suds News on a Monday, Dockside at the Bay on a Thursday. Also, there's freestyling on Real American Freestyle after every Real American Freestyle event. So that'll be coming up later on this month as we get to RAF 05. But then as well, we are coming up with some new content and new shows. And folks, remember, every super chat, super thanks, super sticker that you send us is a new entry into winning a free t-shirt at the end
Who
of the
doesn't want a free t-shirt? Come on.
Exactly. So definitely go ahead and do that. And at the end of the month, if I choose your username, then I will go ahead and contact you for your information and get you your shirt sent. But again, folks, as always, for Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we sit dockside at the bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.